Well, Robin Walsh, thank you very much for coming back to Lively Arts.
You're welcome.
And we're talking to Robin just backstage after having completed the Romeo and Juliet performance Saturday night. Congrats.
Thank you.
I'm curious, I bet a lot of people don't really know what goes into the creation of your life-size puppets. Could you talk a bit about the process from original inception to what we see?
Yes, especially for this one. Usually if it's music-based, I listen to the music, in this case the Prokofiev, and let that inspire me, and then look at the technical specifications that are required. Like here we knew we would be behind a 90-piece orchestra, so they couldn't be very small. So we decided to go pretty big, and I have a special affinity artistic-wise for fabric, especially silk, and how it moves. And it seemed really fitting with the flowing, grand movements that are part of this ballet.
I was curious, did you go back to, you mentioned being inspired by the music, did you also go back to look at videos of old productions of the ballet? Or?
We looked at a couple. We looked at a Krenko version of the ballet and one other, and just to see what they had done, what are people who know this ballet going to expect, and then figure out where we would want to deviate or steal artistically. And because we knew we'd be doing different parts of the story to different than usual parts of the music, because it was a suite, yet we wanted to portray the entire story, as well as the new happy ending. So
which I'm guessing was all your original choreography, because it hadn't been done before, right?
Well, and then with this, all the choreography is mostly different. Although we did emulate certain ballet moves and then play with them, because the ballerina can't stay forever in the air and spin 5 times without falling down, but we can, and we did.
Excellent. I was curious if you could just compare this to your experience working with our Stravinsky project a couple of years ago in the Firebird, in terms of either the challenges or just how you felt about it afterwards. Or
well, it was very different. I know just musically, the Stravinsky is much more, I think, visceral, and it just goes for the emotion right off the bat. And it also has much fewer characters, which was a bit easier, because I think with the ballet of this one, there's like 30-odd dancers in the cast. And I was limited to the same amount of performers. So that was the biggest challenge this time, whereas last time there were 4 main characters. It was fairly easy to make a choice. Here I had to pare it down to basically 8 characters and then a lot of generic Montagues and Capulets. Right. So Tybalt had to stand in for the entire Capulet family outside of Juliet, and Mercutio stood in for all of the Montagues. And then to allow for such a large cast, I ended up going abstract for a lot of it. So fabric, a lot of the generics were simply a piece of fabric on a stick, basically. Which was actually something we also did for the graphic, like, suicide nature of the play, the death, because this was also for a family matinee. And so abstracting it was great, because then we can portray these essentially horrid events, but it's pretty.
And as you're keeping the colors consistent as well when you're just using fabric.
Initial idea I had for this, like listening to the Montague and the Capulets and the death of Tybalt, was just 2 colors of fabric clashing at each other over and over again. And I think we did that.
Right. And yet they're complementary colors, aren't they?
Yes, exactly. Romeo and Juliet, complementary.
Exactly. Well, very well done. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.